Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Destiny video. Now in this video, I want to talk to you guys about the 1.1.1 update, the long-awaited update that everybody's been asking for, the one that Bungie promised would drop before the end of February and would fix the heavy ammo glitch, rebalance some of the weapons, and bring with it heroic matchmaking and updates to the faction tracking UI. Well, if you've boosted up Destiny recently, then you'll know that they stuck to their promise. The update has now gone live, and I'm here to show you all the new stuff in action and talk you through some of the behind-the-scenes changes. So, I'm going to start off with the things that you can actually see, and then we'll talk about the background stuff afterwards. So first up, UI changes. Faction tracking UI. If you press start and you bring up your menu and then you go across to your inventory, you will see right next to the crucible marks is a new entry to the UI. This is how you can track your factions. You merely hover over it and then you can look at everything you have here. You can then go down and check your progress. So you can see, for example, I'm rank 3 on New Monarchy and it's quite a way till rank 4, or alternatively over here on the Crucible, I'm very near to hitting rank 3. And then similarly all these different ones here. So you can track your Cryptarch rank, Vanguard, Crucible, the 3 different factions, plus Arekkz, and then down here it also tells you how many Vanguard marks and how many Crucible marks you've earned for the week. I'm currently on 0 because it's only just been the weekly reset, well actually that's 2 days, but you know what I mean. Either way, you can now see all of that from your menu, which is really, really good. It's something that people have been asking for a very long time, and it used to be really annoying having to go back to either the tower to find out what your factions are, or having to go back to Orbit to see how many more Vanguard and Crucible marks you can earn that week. So this is now live. As I said, you simply go to your character select screen, scroll across to your inventory, hover over this new thing down here, and you can then see all of this stuff yourself. So that is change number 1. Change number 2 is heroic matchmaking. This only applies to the heroic strike, but if I now go over here, select the weekly heroic, the one on Meridian Bay and Mars, and I go launch, you'll now see that as soon as the searching thing begins, it then takes me to a familiar sign. If you do any of the strikes in the playlist, you'll know this is what normally happens. It's now begun matchmaking, it's now begun searching for other Guardians that I can complete the heroic with. I'm going to cancel now so that I don't have to leave them in the lurch, but if I had gone through with that, it then would have taken me into Orbit, it then would have taken me into the strike, and I then would have had a full fire team to do the weekly heroic with. So if you guys out there are trying to farm those strange coins, if you're looking for some help, this is the best way to do it. That does not apply for the Nightfall, so the Nightfall you're still going to have to do either on your own, or you're going to have to find a team, but if you want help getting strange coins, then you can do that. So they are the 2 changes you can physically see. Now let's talk about the changes that are under the hood. As always, I have left a link to the full post in the description box down below, so if you want to read these notes for yourself, then you can do so, but here is what you need to know. First up, under the general section, they have fixed an issue in which armor with perks that increase ammunition carrying capacity resulted in ammunition lost upon respawn. That effectively means that annoying heavy ammo glitch is no more. They also decreased overpenetration value for weapons with armor piercing perks. They fixed an issue where items from the PS3 and 360 Destiny demo were using old power values. They've now been adjusted to the regular levels. The tooltip on the Song of Iyut heavy machine gun, which you get from Crotus and Raid, now advertises the correct magazine size. The shoot to loot perk, the one that allows you to shoot ammo and collect it, now has a 2-second cooldown to prevent extra ammunition gains while the ammo bricks are despawning. The Darkbreaker perk will now correctly damage Hive Shriekers. Snap Discharge will now increase attack speed as per the description. The Thunderer perk has priority on the 4th Horseman tooltip, and for the full auto perk, they fixed an issue in which the weapon perk stopped working while the trigger was being held down. Then if you saw my video a couple of weeks back, then you'll know that this patch also brought with it fixes or rebalances to certain weapons. The main idea is to try and get people to use pulse rifles slightly more, but if you want a complete breakdown of all those changes, I'll leave a link to that video in the description box down below. But briefly, auto rifles, they reduced the base damage of auto rifles by 2.5% and have reduced the effective range values. Pulse rifles have had their base damage increased by 9.7%. Hand cannons have had their effective range slightly reduced and their initial accuracy slightly reduced. Fusion rifles have a wider blast pattern on the fusion rifle burst cone, and their starting ammunition in PvP has been reduced. And lastly, shotguns, they've increased the damage by 100% to all non-Guardian combatants. That basically means for PvE, when you're fighting aliens, shotgun now does 100% more damage. They've also reduced the high-end values, made it so that the damage fall-off starts sooner, so they won't be so effective at longer ranges, and they've reduced the starting ammunition in PvP. So that's it for weapons. Then under the activity section, as I've already shown you, they've added matchmaking for the weekly heroic strike, but on top of that they've also put something in place so that it's less likely that you'll be repeating the same strike one after another when you're doing strikes in the strike playlist. We all know how annoying it is when you have to fight Fogoth 3 or 4 times in a row, so hopefully now that should be reduced. Not necessarily removed, but reduced. Then for PvP, a few general changes. Firstly, players will now unlock all Crucible playlists simultaneously. If you cast your mind back to when you first started playing the game, you'll know that when you first unlocked the Crucible, you had to play some control matches before you could play the next matches, and you had to then unlock the playlists one at a time. These now unlock all at the same time. They've also added a new notification when Crucible modes unlock, which you would no doubt greet with the second you boot up the game after the update is installed. Similar to Strikes, Crucible maps are now less likely to repeat in matchmaking, so hopefully we should get a bit more variety going. Again, they haven't completely removed the possibility of repeat maps, but it has been significantly reduced. Guardians will also no longer drop heavy ammunition when killed in PvP, so you can only get heavy ammo from the chests. Guardians also drop much less special ammunition when killed, and when you complete matches, it will now award gear with the proper power level. As for the Iron Banner playlist now contains smaller maps in rotation, which is going to be really cool. And they've also made it so that the Focused Aggression bounty can now be completed with headshots from pulse rifles, scout rifles and hand cannons, as well as auto rifles. Under the items section, they've firstly fixed an issue whereby Azur did not always carry exotic engrams in his inventory. He will now, going forward, carry exotic engrams every single week, so you'll always have something to spend those motes of light on. When you complete Crow's End, completion emblems will now be sent to the postmaster when the player's inventory is full, as opposed to before where players weren't able to obtain them if their inventory was full. They've also made it so that ammunition consumables will now work if used when your inventory is full. And lastly, they fixed an issue that prevented qualifying players who had deleted their character from claiming the Tumbler Sparrow from Tess Everest in the tower. Then the next section is about user interface. I've already demonstrated the faction tracking thing, but a couple of other minor things. They fixed it so that players in public spaces will no longer see voice notifications when a player in a match-made fire team enters, and players will now see improved notifications when teammates join and depart team and fire team chat channels. The next section is dedicated to Grimoire cards. This one's quite lengthy, so I'm going to leave you guys to read this one for yourself, but effectively there were a load of different Grimoire cards that weren't correctly unlocking. These have now been fixed so that they unlock under the correct conditions. Then, we're nearly at the end. This is the technical section. DLC and patch systems have been improved so that it makes it easier for the guys to deploy fixes and patches going forward, and there have also been various networking improvements to deal with people that have different routers and different scenarios that were causing disconnections. And the very last thing that I do want to mention is that there is one bug that has been introduced with this patch, which they do intend to fix very soon, but for the time being, when you spawn in with the Vex Mythoclast in PvP, you'll have less ammo in the magazine and in your reserves. The reason for this is because this weapon was affected by the overall fusion rifle changes because it's treated as a secondary weapon, given that it is a fusion rifle. But they have said they are going to work on fixing that very soon. And that, my friends, is it. That is everything you need to know about the 1.1.1 update, which has now dropped. If you haven't booted up Destiny today, then load it up and you should get the prompt to install it, and then you're good to go. As I said before, if you do want to read this in full, then I will leave a link to the post in the description box down below. But otherwise, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and hit that thumbs up button. And if you're not already part of the Arekkz Gaming Nation, then make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single video. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the new faction tracking UI and also the addition of heroic matchmaking. And thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.